Episode 42 of the Golf Performance Group podcast. And apologies to all of you that will watch this online as we try to grow our YouTube page. You're only looking at JJ and I today. I'm your host, Lebronald Palmer, and we've got
JJ Wood, aka the Golf Bod.
I mean, we're
missing.
One. That's
maybe
the first
Taylor,
one.
Maybe Taylor makes me nervous or something.
Yeah. And we are missing Taylor today. So, I mean, y'all are just gonna have to deal with us. I mean, the old crew, the guys.
OGs,
I mean, you have no candy on the screen at all. You know, they're gonna be mad at looking at this episode when they see it.
That's online. Why I wore my pretty shirt, though. You know.
So that is fair. That is a nice shirt. So
this is a shirt I got after I shot my 82 at a tournament, and I went to the Nike outlet to make myself feel better. Got some sweet shirts, and then I looked at my bank account, and I'm like, gosh, dang, we need this weather to improve.
I'm sure that 82 didn't help your bank account either. You know what I'm saying?
Like, but the thing was, I felt like I played well. You know, that's a weird thing, and well, you know, when it's raining, winding, and you haven't played golf, didn't play practice round, I was playing like an 18 handicap mindset. That's why I tell people, go play golf when you have time. It's just you're rusty mindset wise, thinking through shots.
Yeah, but definitely.
Go get yourself a pretty shirt if you shoot 82 because it makes you feel better.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big person on if you look good, it doesn't matter how you play. You know, I'm a Jumpman golf guy. I wear a lot of Jordan golf shoes. I usually always wear slacks. It's hard to do in Houston because it gets so hot. You know, you got to shorts it some. But I generally, you know, top button. I'm always trying to look halfway decent. But
I got to ask you. Yeah, going off that look good, play good. How did you feel about Rory's shirt on Sunday? A couple other guys, it was terrible.
It wasn't the best. I mean, you know, I know they were honoring Tiger. We'll get to Tiger here in a second. Some of they weren't built enough for the clothes that they tried to wear.
Yeah, and I think it was Xander had a baggy old shirt on, but I think a better honor for like honoring Tiger was like Billy Horschel had a TW on his hat. Like I felt like Nike might have been taking advantage of getting a new shirt line.
Oh, without question. Without question. You know,
they're always trying to capitalize.
Now, I had a chance to come up to the facility and hit a few balls. Got a few swings on camera. You know, I'm still working on some things, but at least I was able to get up there.
So this is why people like you, my sister, like you need me before you post something, because I get hate mail when you tag me. My sister does the same thing. You know, these golf instructors, they know everything. And they're like, man, all he's going to do from that setup position is early extend. And so I replied, why don't you tell him that? Great. There's 8 million things that could happen. You know, it's like what people always have to like prove that they're knowledgeable. And it's like, come on, man.
It's ridiculous. I
forgot about it. I was gonna send something to you, but I forgot.
My swing is coming along. You know, it's getting to where I want to, but it's weird. You know, I can still get around the course relatively good, but I know there's a few things to get me to the next level.
So that's my point. Like Phil, I always say Phil Mickelson's perfect example, man. You watch a video of someone hit it. Like I don't do a lot of online like swing analysis because you got to know the player, and like if they're really athletic, they make certain things work. Phil Mickelson's perfect example, but you don't have to early extend from that position. But anyway, it's just annoying.
Well, get your hate mail. You know that means that you
if you're not, if they're not, if you're not getting hate mail, that means you're not doing anything. You're not.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. Yeah, if you don't have critics, then that means that you're not important. Yeah,
bring on the hate mail.
Bring it on. So, all right, obviously the big news, after we left, you, Taylor, and I, we were talking about, like, you know, I even had made the statement, I think that was Tiger's last time we would see him on the golf course when he was with Charlie. You were alluding to, man, it's going to be sad if he passes in the next, few years. And then, boom, right after the podcast. After the podcast, we hear that.
Yeah, I went and taught after that podcast. I came up to the course, taught a couple lessons, and I had to go run there. And I was pulling out, and my heart like stopped because they cut into the PGA Tour radio. I guess I had on, and it was breaking news. The single car crash, and I'm like, oh my, wow, like that. I just have I don't know. I don't know. It's sad, really.
Are we okay? So here's a question that and so I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. This is just me asking in general. Will there come a point where we get fatigued of supporting Tiger through all these variety of things?
I think it'll go away. I mean, now after that last tournament, is a World Golf Championship, all the best players. It was the first tournament since Tiger's accident. So I'm thinking it'll slowly go away. I mean, not go away, but it won't be the headline on Golf Channel every day. I bet you they'll update every other day, but I think, all the stuff on the golf coverage on TV, they're not going to be all about it. I don't think.
Because to me, I feel like the golf industry has been so Tiger dependent that if you're going to have to cut that leash at some point.
And they have to accept that there's not going to be. There could be someone coming along, but there's not going to be another Tiger.
No,
it's just,
no.
I mean, he had all the different angles, like, to grow the game. The athleticism, the mindset, the ethnicity. He's every race, I think. I mean, he's like the perfect one to bring everyone, like, to golf. And then for guys like me that were young, and I think that's like Dustin. I think I talked about this last time. Dustin Johnson. Like, he made it like respectable for us to play golf when all our friends wanted us to play football, baseball, basketball, all that. So, and now kids are playing and they get a lot more respect from their peers, and it's Tiger. I don't think we would have the Dustin Johnsons and the Brooks Koepkas and all these. They made it okay, and then then they started first tee programs so inner city kids can play. They have it in schools, and that all stemmed from Tiger. I mean, it's billions of dollars that Tiger created. But it's sad that I think kind of, he had to sacrifice kind of, his dad made the decision for him to be great from a young age, taking him to military psychologists to get, who knows what they're saying, at 5 years old, that he didn't have a choice. And, it's sad, I think. I mean, I wouldn't take $1 billion to have his life, afterwards. It'd be cool, when he was in his prime, but for 10 years of greatness and $1 billion. And now, like Ronnie Coleman, that documentary, like
Ronnie Coleman can't even walk. Yeah,
I mean, I would be a PGA Tour player, make a couple million a year. I mean, I would be more than happy,
Yeah, but there used to be this thing that
why it wasn't great.
There used to be this thing people would ask, like, would you rather be a guy like Ian Poulter, who's like the king of the Ryder Cup, or, he's never had any issues, he's always, made a couple million a year, or would you rather be Tiger Woods? Like, that's kind of
on the surface it looks like Tiger, right? But especially Ian Poulter, that's a great example because he has his whole continent behind him.
That's what I'm saying. They love him.
And like Tiger's, because of his personal issues, that everybody knows about because he is Tiger Woods, people are divided on their opinion of him. And, most women don't like him, and I understand that side, but anyway, let's get off the Tiger train. Everyone's,
So let's go to one of my favorite players then, Morikawa. But Finau let me down. I apologize to anyone who followed me on the Finau.
What did he end up at?
He finished, I think, 12th or 17th. One of those T something where he was just outside the top 10. But and what hurt me is he was, had a chance to win, and he started his round with a triple bogey on Sunday. But I'm not going to get into that. Sundays have seemed to be his downfall on every tournament. But Morikawa, lock solid, goes out and wins his third tour event. So he's got a major and 2 wins under his belt in 2 seasons. And you made up a point where we were kind of talking beforehand. There's been a lot of conversation around the players are too long, the courses are too short. I know there was conversation back in the early 2000s about tiger proofing courses. Now they're saying changing some of the equipment, either the drivers are too hot or the ball is too hot. Morikawa is the exact opposite. I mean, he's a long player, don't get me wrong.
All of them are long.
His ball striking is what won him that tournament. It's ball striking.
So I haven't posted it, but every week I get the strokes gained stats from the week.
Okay.
And the winner is always positive pretty much across the board, maybe not short game to the out. So strokes gained is, are you gaining or losing shots to the average player in the event, based on each area of the game: short game, putting, irons, approach, and off the tee. And what's crazy, like driving and putting, I think is the most important aspects of the game, because you got to be able to get it in play. If you're long, yeah, you're going to get it closer with a wedge than someone with a 6-iron. But the strokes gained approach, yeah, I think I talked about it maybe a month ago. It has been the highest strokes gained. Like he was +9 strokes gained, like to
That's
the average tour
ridiculous.
player.
That's
Yeah, and he was
ridiculous.
like
Yeah.
plus maybe 1 or 2 driving and putting, and
Yeah.
short game something around 0. But that's what people don't realize when he keeps stats like fairways, greens, putts. That doesn't tell the story, because I could have 30 putts and hit 3 greens, or I could have 30 putts and hit 16 greens. But then I could hit 16 greens but have 40 footers every hole. So those are bogey possibilities, not birdie opportunities. So that's why if you are a golfer, any level, you keep a handicap, say that level. If you I have people that are -24. I'm -2.5 putting right now, strokes gained on my thing. But I'm positive almost a shot with my ball striking, so I've got that back. But anyways, like you can identify, like, am I really that good of an iron player because I hit 12 greens around, or am I too far from the hole? Where Morikawa is putting it in there, but then he's got to make that 10, 15 footer.
He does. So, yeah. So the thing I was impressed with him is he had the big names pushing him on Sunday. I mean, Koepka was there pushing him. You had Rory, I mean, his terrible shirt was there pushing him. Like, you had the big names.
That's probably why Rory didn't come through, because of the shirt.
You had they climbing the leaderboard. So even Hovland, these guys who are, you had some emerging stars. You also had some stars that are established pushing him. And just like when Morikawa won his major, he is lock solid. And I think he's a guy who has staying power. I think he wins a couple times this year. He might even win Player of the Year this year.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised he kind of fell off the last, month or so. I don't know how long.
You would too.
Hadn't really seen his name.
You would too, though. You would too if you won.
Well, no, but it was so impressive how he came out of the gates. One miscut in the first 20-some starts.
Yeah.
But he started struggling with his putting, and that's how crazy golf is, where you didn't hear about him. Then what was it, Riviera? He missed the cut. Riviera.
Yep,
he missed the cut because that was the first week he went to the claw, and then that's why people that take lessons, they give up. It's uncomfortable, right? Well, it's because you're changing it. You're not used to it. And so he just stuck with it, and it, he got comfortable, got the timing, got the speed control down, and look at him,
Yeah, he's doing great now. So we transition into this week where it would have been a big week for golf. Arnold Palmer Invitational. Obviously, you still got the Tiger news out there, but a lot of good players are playing at the Arnold Palmer this year. I mean, you've got
always rolls. It's an invitational, yeah.
Yeah, you've pretty much got the top 10 in the world, and then about 80% of the top 50 in the world at this event, headlined by Rory and Bryson. But you've got Patrick Reed, you've got Hatton, Fitzpatrick, Spieth is there, Casey's there, Fleetwood, Horschel. The only person who really is not showing up is Finau and Dustin Johnson. Everyone else is kind of at this event. So it was hard for me to come up with a card for this week, so to speak, just because I don't know who's ready for this big of an event. And I think they're going to try to have fans again.
I mean, Bryson's, struggled, but he shot a 77 first round, but then he came back 64, and then he finished at like 6 under. He could be trending back to where he was, because he said he was just a little bit off, but with that much speed, that's way off. That's what people
he was
don't
like,
realize.
that much speed, that's 50 yards. Yeah,
and everyone's talking about rolling back the golf. Oh, I think you kind of brought it up, and then we got off track. But everyone's saying roll back the golf ball, especially because of Bryson. Why? Because he's lifting weights and he's an athlete. Like, no, like if you get that little bit off, it's a lot easier to get out of bounds with that speed then that's how impressive it is that he could do that, gain all that weight, get in this tempo timing, and he was able to, keep it in play basically. But Concession was a great course. So, 7,400 yards, I know, but there was guys shooting 77s, and then what did DJ shoot? 78 or something?
Yeah.
One round,
he had a terrible round too. Yeah.
But it's a great design course where you had 19 under win, but then you have guys shooting high 70s because it rewarded the best players. If you're a fraction off, you kept chipping across the green like me when I shot my 82. So,
so here's what I came up with for my 4 players. So for whatever reason, Paul Casey always plays well in that first Florida swing event. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the humidity. Maybe it's just he's comfortable there, but he generally always plays well. So I actually made him as my A player for this event. So Paul Casey is my A player.
Casey. Okay.
Yeah. My B player is Kevin Na. Now I know he's the slowest player on tour, but in the first 10 events of every year, have you noticed
he slower? They were talking about Billy Horschel.
He's slower. No, I think Kevin Na he's the slowest player I've ever seen. I mean, he does like how guys do like
Ben Crane.
swings.
Ben Crane's not on tour anymore, I guess.
He's not on tour anymore, though. He's not on tour anymore. So,
yeah.
But okay, and then my C player is Zalatoris. Have you heard of him?
I've played with him.
Okay, what's crazy?
Dude, he's good. He's got all of it.
He's 26 out of 27 cuts in 14 top 10s in his last 30 events.
Yeah, so so I told you about the Decade Golf by Scott Foster.
Yeah.
So that course management strategy. So he was the test dummy when he was, I think, junior, senior in high school. He was a good player out of Dallas, and Scott Fawcett worked for his dad's company. But Scott Fawcett played Web.com tour out of A&M, and he had a finance degree, I believe, but he's a numbers guy. And he traveled with some guys. I can't remember their names, but they ended up making it to the tour and winning. And Scott Fawcett was like, I'm better than these guys. And that's, because he was a good ball striker. And back in the day, that's kind of how I thought too. Like, I'm better than that guy. Well, how do you make it,
Yeah.
But it's like managing your misses and knowing your tendencies, shot direction, that kind of stuff. So he came up with like a formula, and he went to his boss, Will Zalatoris' dad, and said, hey, can I do this with Will on the range? On what, he was a good player, won, I think, maybe at state high school, but on the national scene hadn't done nothing great. And so he, anyways, they do it. Will likes it. So he caddies for him that summer. He wins the U.S. Junior Amateur. He wins like 2 or 3 other invitational amateurs for like that college players are at. And then he goes to Wake Forest, becomes the #1 amateur in the world. And that's when I played with him in 2018 as a practice round at the Valero Monday. That's when he had just turned pro, and they gave the exemption to someone else, and he was all, butthurt about it. But he's a good kid. He's a wiry, maybe 6'1", and he hammers it like.
Oh yeah,
His swing arc is just, and so after the round we had a putting contest because we were practicing our putting, and I took him to extra holes, and I was about to get confidence, and his buddy sees us putting, and he's like, isn't he such a terrible putter? And I was like, are you serious, man? I was about to, like, he's the #1 amateur in the world. I was about to beat him. And then I lost the match, and then he's a bad putter. I'm even worse. It totally ruined my day.
Yeah, no. So, and then my D player is Alex Noren. So, Alex
Noren's real good.
Yeah, just solid. So this tournament, Arnold Palmer, I'm going with guys who make cuts. They don't necessarily have to be winners, but I need you to make the cut, finish top 20, and I'll finish in the cash. If I get a winner out of one of those, I'll be happy.
Makes a lot of cuts, doesn't he?
Yeah. He rarely misses a cut also. So that's kind of how I picked my card for this week. So what we need to do, though, is I've been thinking we need to do a DraftKings for the podcast where people can challenge us, and we make a weekly card.
Us or challenge you?
Us, players too. Taylor knows players also, so they can challenge us. So like a weekly thing where we put our cards together, and then we can put a little money on the line so that people know that there's some odds. And I bet if we can get 8 to 10 people, that'd make a little fun thing, and it's something we can talk about on the podcast.
And we can post the results on the social media. Maybe have Taylor get us some free, gifts through her.
Right. Yes. Right. Right. We definitely need to do that. So now, before we get out of here, any tips for people that you want to give people, or give me after you saw my swing here last week? What do I need to be working on to stop early extending?
So according to this guy, because I don't, I look at golf swings all day. So I kind of, when I'm not working, I don't look at golf swing. I mean, unless I'm like in the mode of researching. But according to this guy, I can't remember his name, and I don't know what kind of expertise he has, but
Okay.
he said you need to work on your setup, which I do. I don't agree. I don't know if I agree with you because I didn't look at it still, but I agree
Okay.
that the golf swing is a domino effect, and I actually have a spreadsheet where I have P1, P2. So P stands for position. So
Okay.
position 1 is your setup. So there's ball position, there's grip, alignment, stance, posture. So if you don't get that right, you're manipulating from there. So
Okay.
there's a reason the fundamentals are the fundamentals. And unless you're a scratch golfer, you probably shouldn't deviate much from that. But once you get to a certain level, you can deviate based on certain things, certain ball flights you want. But yeah, I would say get your fundamentals right. If you got your fundamentals right and then your transition from backswing to downswing real smooth and in sync, there's not much room for golf instruction. But everybody thinks there's a secret out there, and there's not.
Of course. Yeah, no, I get that for sure. So, well, I'll be back up there again Sunday. So maybe we can get it on the camera where you and I are doing some work together so people can see that. I'll
We
try
can
to
work
make it
on
up
your
there Sunday
setup.
afternoon. Yeah, because it might be a setup thing. I think, but from
Well,
those,
what's your ball flight? I'll look at it. What's your ball? So I have a little. What's your big miss right now?
Big miss right now is just still a big push. A big push would be my miss still. Yeah.
Here's my other tip. Like if someone says turn your hips to start the downswing or keep your head down, like something just typical. Like ask them how's that going to correct your flaw? Because
Yeah.
I have a maintenance guy here that he slices it, and he got some unwarranted advice, and it's like holding a pizza tray at the top. Well, that's going to get you more laid off, most likely. Nothing's exact science, but laid off is one of the factors that creates a slice. So like, yes, that's picture perfect. Like you probably read that in a magazine, but that's not going to fix your slice. So like identify the problem and then see what's causing it and start from position 1 all the way through.
Perfect.
Figure out the core of the issue.
Well, Sunday we'll get some video together and put it on the social media page, because people are always wondering, like, where are we practicing? What are we doing? Of course, we go up to Northgate to work on what you're doing. I do a lot of stuff at home, but now that it's warming up, or really warm now, and some of our free time is getting back, we definitely need to do that and plan our golf event. We've been talking about that for a while also.
Okay, my last tip, you said it's a push, right?
Yeah, it's a push.
Correct. Yep. So where your club face is pointed is 80% of direction. Of so if I mean, I don't want you to create any more issues, but if I'm gonna wait until
Sunday. I'm gonna wait until Sunday.
If you know how to release it properly, that's what I would try to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait until
Sunday.
Sunday.
It's not a flick of the wrist. It's boom.
Okay. Yeah. So on Sunday we will work on that and get that done. So if you like what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram at golf_pod. You can follow JJ at JJ Wood Golf. You can follow me at Lebronald Palmer. It's like Arnold Palmer, but with LeBron's name in front of it. So Lebronald, but because someone asked me, they're like, how do you spell that? So I figured I should give them a little more details in front of it. So.
Oh, actually, I was talking to a member here, and I said, I had a meeting about getting a range building. And I said, I was trying to describe you, and they're like, oh, Lebronald Palmer? And I was like, how you know him? He's like, no, I've just seen your Instagram podcast videos. So they probably started following you or something.
That's good. Yeah, like people, it's weird. Like, but then a lot of people are like, I don't even know how to spell that. So I figured I'd start giving people it as LeBron and then the Arnold Palmer drink. So if you enjoy that, that's how you spell it. Yes, it's Lebronald Palmer. So, all right, but we appreciate you all listening. That's been episode 42. We're out.